Now we're starting live at the Allstate Hub booth, where you can meet the master builder. Dave Perewitz is here. Everybody, let's give Dave a hand. Louder so they can hear you. Remember, come on down. You can get a free calendar that Dave will autograph after the interview. Dave, it is great to have you here.
Well, it's great to be here in Southern California. It's a little rainy outside, but at least it's not cold. Back home it was 17 last night, so we're glad to be here.
Now, judging by your accent, back home is where, Florida?
No, we're from Boston, right outside of Boston. My daughter Jody and I, who's right over here, we flew out here, and so we came to enjoy the the sunny California sun. Well, Florida, you know.
A lot of Boston people live in Florida. Well, let's get right into the interview. Dave has been building bikes for what, a minimum 30 years now?
Well, actually, close to 40 years.
He doesn't look a day over 30. Hey, Dave, what designs have been the most important for you and for your business over the last 30 years?
Well, the styles have changed so much over the years, but basically most people, I think, know us for the pro street style, the long stretched out, slammed on the ground kind of thing. That's been our primary style over the years, but of course now things have changed considerably. We've always done a lot of different styles, but like I say, primarily known for our pro street style. Now we do baggers and we do bobbers and we're doing restorations. We're doing Ironhead Sportster stuff, and we're still doing pro street stuff.
Well, because of the television time has got to be quick time, so everything that's built is built within a 45-minute or 60-minute show. How long does it take you to build the average bike? And most importantly, when you decide on a bike, how does it come to you? Do you wake up and go, that's what I've got to do? Or do you get up and do you sketch? And from that point to the completion, what does it take to build one of your bikes?
Well, basically, I have a really good feel for people when they come to me about building a bike. Most people don't really know exactly what they want, but they have a direction, and that's all I need is a direction. I could talk to someone for an hour and know exactly what they want. They may not even know what they want, but I can pretty much figure it out. And you know, I'm more interested in what you don't like as opposed to what you do like. And we don't do sketches. We're one of the few guys that don't do them. And I'll be honest with you, we hit it pretty much on the nail on the head almost every time.
Where do you start? Do you start with the frame? Do you start with the type of bike you're going for? What's the start point of the build?
Well, the start point of the build is when a guy gives me a deposit. So that's the starting point.
Money is the start point.
But no, it depends on the style. Well, actually, any style. The first thing I do is get a frame. The most important thing is the frame, the motor, and the wheels. With those things, I can pretty much do a mock-up. We have lots of front ends and various parts that we have in the shop that we use for mock-up. But basically, if I know what frame the guy wants or what style he wants, we make the frame, or we have the frame made. And then front end, what style front end he wants, and the wheels. The size of the wheels makes a big difference because we have to set the fenders up and actually set the whole bike up to look right with whatever size wheels he wants.
And since you've been building motorcycles, how many at peak were you producing a year, and how many are you producing a year now?
Well, I'd say at a peak year, we were probably doing 15 full ground up bikes a year. That doesn't sound like a lot, but it's a handful. And right now, I think Jody told me last year we did, I think we did 11 or 12 full ground up bikes. But they're bobbers and they're not the high-end stuff. We're still doing some high-end stuff, but mostly it's middle-of-the-road stuff now.
And that's economy-based, I would imagine, what people can afford. If somebody in the audience had a Sportster, for example, what would you do? Could you do at an affordable price to take a Sportster and make it look really cool and have the Dave Perewitz signature?
Well, it would depend whether they were looking for a bobber or something that was maybe stretched out a little bit. And more than likely it would be a bobber style. So, you know, you strip it down, you know, change the fenders, lower it, rake the frame, change the seat area, you know, maybe make a set of pipes, paint job. Paint job makes or breaks the bike anyway, you know, and you know, our paint, we've specialized in paint. That's where I started out, as a painter, and we do everything in-house. And you know, if 2 or 3 years ago you told me I would be painting my own personal bike flat black, I'd tell you you were crazy. But my own personal bike, you'll see it, it's in the calendar, it's on the back page of the calendar. It's a Road Glide, and I painted it flat black with red, candy red scallops on it. And like I say, it's the styles change so quickly, and fortunately I have a lot of young input, and that's what I really need. You know, between my daughter and a couple of the guys that work for me, I really value the input that the younger guys give me, because sometimes, you know, us older guys don't see it that way. But once we get into it, once we have gotten into it, it's the route to go. It's what people want.
Now, one of the things that you do exceptionally well is True Flames. How do you how can you briefly describe the process of True Flames? I've seen a variety of them out there that if it's not done well, boy, it doesn't cut it. But if it's done really well, they really jump out at you.
Flames is something I've been doing. I have a picture of my very first flame job from I think 1970, 71, and so I've been doing flames for almost 40 years. And so, you know, I think I've got them kind of down pat now to where I like them anyway. Everybody has their own style. You know, I have kind of a style of my own. And I really enjoy doing them. It's one of the things I look forward to doing.
I've seen the actual process done by some fairly decent painters, and I understand it can be as many as 15 to 20 plus layers of clear. Is that true?
Yeah, an extensive paint job, an extensive flame job, which, you know, I've done, I did 2 shows, 2 biker build-offs on Discovery, and both bikes I did flame jobs on, so they were all, you know, recorded on TV. And those kind of jobs, yeah, by the time you're done, you're putting 20 coats of clear, but what you got to remember is you're sanding off 2/3 of it. So, you know, you clear it, then sand it, and clear it some more, then sand it. So that you got a really smooth, deep finish when you're done.
So it's a 3 steps forward, 2 back process. But I'm going to do right now a rapid fire speed round for Dave. Going to ask him just yes, no, or pick one or the other. Here we go. Evo versus twin cam.
Twin cam. Twin cam.
And why is that?
Oh, the twin cam motors are just an awesome motor. They can make you can make a lot more power out of a twin cam than you can out of or you can make a lot more power easier out of a twin cam than an Evo motor.
Springer versus hydraulic.
Hydraulic, just because it's a much nicer ride.
So 30 years ago, what's the answer to that question?
Springer, because it was cool.
Ginger versus Marianne.
Marianne.
30 years ago, what would have been the answer to that question?
Maybe Ginger.
Victory Vision versus Harley Road King.
Harley Road King.
By a mile?
Well, I'm just prejudiced.
Candy versus Metaflake.
Candy. Candy. Metaflake is such a mess. I mean, we do it, and we're getting a lot more call for it now, but it just makes such a mess in the spray booth.
So would you say it's a better end result, but a much more difficult process to work with? Is that a fair statement?
No. They both can get an excellent result. It's just in the manner that it's executed.
Now, actually, I think the most important question on here is Pam Anderson or Angelina Jolie?
I guess I'd have to go with Pam Anderson.
10 years ago. I won't do that. How about Angelina Jolie versus a knucklehead?
Knucklehead.
All right, last question. Daytona versus Sturgis.
Well, Sturgis is the #1 rally out there. There's no second to Sturgis. If you want to ride, you want to enjoy good weather most of the time, you want to enjoy hassle-free riding, see all kinds of sights, there's no second to Sturgis. Daytona, I love Daytona too, but it's because I have so many friends down there, and I've been there for the last, well, my first trip to Daytona was 1970, so I've been there almost every year since then. But my advice, if somebody says to me, which they do often, should I go to Daytona or Sturgis? It's Sturgis, hands down.
I tend to agree. You've got more scenery, you've got more elevation, you've got a lot more to see and do. Nothing's wrong with Daytona, but Sturgis, I think, has that extra added effect to it.